Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Our topic today is cybersecurity and bullying. My name is BC Echohawk and I'm a member of the Pawnee Nation of Oklahoma. On behalf of the Native Connections team and contracting officer representatives Maureen Madison and Jan Dunbar Cooper, thank you all for joining us. Today we're looking at the challenges our youth face in a world of social media and internet use. Cyberbullying and security are topics adults have found challenging to understand. Be aware today's conversation will cover sensitive information that listeners might find triggering. Please keep self-care in mind as you listen. You're welcome to share your thoughts and comments at any time. Use the raise hand function and we'll call on you to unmute your microphone and comment. Also, feel free to enter questions or comments in the chat box anytime during the session. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to our GTA, Bobby Arthur, who will open us up in a good way. Bobby?
Thank you, BC. Good morning, everybody. I wanted to start I appreciate everybody for coming in and being with us today. I feel very grateful and humbled to be here with you all. I wanted to start us off this morning with a little exercise, mindful exercise to kind of bring us in the moment, so that we were present as we go through this presentation. As BC had mentioned, you know, it could be some tough things to hear. And so I just wanted us to be very present and to be aware of what we're thinking, feeling. So if you wouldn't mind, we're going to do a quick little exercise. And so I'd like everybody to get very comfortable. And we're going to just go through our senses and kind of just ground ourselves in the moment. You don't need to do anything but just total relax and be present. The first thing I want you to do in your relaxed state is I want you to notice 5 things that you can see. Look around your surroundings. And bring to your attention 5 things that you normally probably wouldn't notice on a day-to-day basis. Maybe something such as a shadow, maybe there's a spot on your ceiling. But notice 5 things that you normally wouldn't notice. Then I want you to move to things that you can feel. Bring your awareness to 4 things that you're currently feeling. For example, maybe it could be the texture of your pants. It could be the feeling of a breeze on your skin. It could be the smooth surface of a table that you're resting your hands on. It could be maybe the air or the sunlight on your face. But just focus a moment on things that you can feel. Next, I want you to focus on what you're listening to. What can you hear? Take a minute to note 3 things in your surroundings, in the background that you can hear. This might be, if your window's open, it could maybe be the chirp of the bird, the hum of an air conditioner, sounds of traffic, an airplane going by. But listen for 3 things that you hear in your surroundings. The next thing we're going to focus on is our sense of smell. Take a moment to capture a scent in the air. Maybe it might be fresh cut grass, or maybe you have, maybe there's some food, a scent of food in the air. Maybe it's trees, or maybe you might have flowers. But notice two things that you can smell. And the last thing is I want you to focus on something that you can taste right now, right at this moment. Maybe it's a sip of a drink, a piece of gum, but something that you can taste in your mouth. Or if you're really in tune with your senses, I don't know, sometimes you can catch a taste of something that's in the air. But something you can taste, get your senses. Piece of candy, piece of gum. And just be in the moment with all your senses. Just be in the moment, be present with that. Maybe take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Again, take a deep breath in and then just exhale out. It's so, we are so driven by the work that we do on a daily, whether it's with family or with work, that often we forget to just stop and just to be present. And so this little exercise is a quick exercise to help you to focus on being present. You don't need a whole lot of time. You don't need fancy equipment. Something you just need to have a space and the willingness to just to take in the moment. So we're going to be, I hope you feel relaxed and you have all your senses ready, and because we're going to be sharing some great information with you this morning on this presentation. So thank you for participating. Sharon?
Thank you so much, Bobby. I really appreciate you providing that opening in the way that you did. So my name is Sharon Eagleman. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're at. Thank you for being with us. So my name is Sharon Eagleman, and I'm a grantee technical assistant. I'm a member of the Fort Peck, Assiniboine, and Sioux Tribes of Montana, and I'm also Little Traverse Bay Band of Ottawa Indians from Michigan. So I just wanted to share that I first met the staff from the National Indian Women's Health Resource Center in Tahlequah, Oklahoma last year during a site visit. I was fortunate enough to travel with Deborah Radler. She is a grantee technical assistant who is also this center's GTA. And this topic came up during a conversation that we had about the work that they're doing in this area. And it feels really, it's really important. And it just seems like it's, this last year has gone by really fast in planning this. So I'll turn it back over to Bobby, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. So let me introduce myself. Ashi Hinshaw Tretnasani Bashichin, Twahiglini Deshichen, Kis Ani Sheshtine Adeshanele. So I am Salt Clan, and I am born for the Tangle people. My maternal grandfathers are the Water Flows Together, and my paternal grandfathers are the Hopi tribe, the Bear Clan. And that's who I am. And my name is Bobby Arthur, and I'm a colleague of Sharon, and I am a grantee technical assistant. And I'm really happy to be here with you all today. Like we had mentioned earlier, I was a facilitator, virtual facilitator for the most recent, the West Coast Regional Site Visit. And we had done I had the great opportunity to sit and listen to this presentation. Although we couldn't listen to the full presentation, but we were able to catch the basic information about what this presentation is about. And it really made me, it was a really very powerful, just what was shared was a very powerful and was a very powerful presentation. Made my mind think about things about that I normally wouldn't have thought about. We live in such a fast-paced world, and we're just trying to keep up with society and the fastness of it, and that includes the internet. And so that whole world, I knew there was issues, I knew there was concerns about it, I knew there was things about it, to be cautious about it, but to actually really hear this, and after hearing this presentation, just really made it even more, I've just become very more aware of it. And I'm so honored to have this team here that we have today to share with us this information. And I really hope that we're able to capture this information and see about getting it out to our communities. So, but I'm just really grateful to be here with this team. And so I would like to, at this time, turn it over to Rachel, our presenter, Rachel.
Osio Nagata, Rachel Purgett Dawadoa, Shasta Tig, Jessica C., Anthony Meter Dadoa, Jalagi, Skodogi, Oklahoma, Dojanela. Hi, you guys. I'm Rachel Purgett, and I'm the media specialist for National Indian Women's Health Resource Center. I'm a tribal member of the Cherokee Nation, and on my paternal side, the Miami tribe. After COVID, our community and our students went home, and we were fortunate enough that they could learn from home with Chromebooks and free Wi-Fi. But that brought with unforeseen side effects. And what we had done is pretty much exposed our kids to the world and exposed the world to our kids without any training, without teaching them what's safe or how to be safe online. And in our community, our suicide attempt rates went up with our students. So Shasta started looking for people to help us combat this internet world that we didn't grow up in. We don't know what's out there. And thankful enough, they brought us Anthony Meter, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since, trying to make the world a safer place online. And to note that we are covering several sensitive subjects, including teen suicide and sextortion and sex trafficking. So if at any point you need to take a break or mute the webinar, please feel free to take care of yourself first. It is a heavy webinar. Jessica, our project director, will be sharing with you on how we are tackling these issues.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica C. I'm a Cherokee Nation tribal member, and I am the project director for our Native Connections Cohort 8 grant. Today, we're going to talk about cyberbullying and cybercrimes and their damaging effects on the mental health of our youth. We'll explain how we formed our partnerships and collaborations with the Department of Homeland Security and our local schools in order to bring this education to our kids. And we'll talk about the impact this education has had on our community. We'll also provide you all with other resources related to cyber safety and bullying. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to share a little bit about some of the history of our organization. The National Indian Women's Health Resource Center is a national nonprofit organization located in the northeastern region of Oklahoma, in Tahlequah, the capital of both the Cherokee Nation and the United Keetoowah Band of Cherokee Indians. It spans 5,200 square miles within its functional service area, and it's not affiliated with any one tribe. We will work with anyone and everyone in Indian country. To give you a brief history of NIWHRC, in 1993, the director of the Indian Health Service assembled a group of Native women recognized as leaders in the health field to serve on a steering committee and to advise IHS on the health needs of Native women. Since that time, we've undergone a lot of changes and we've worked on many projects, but our goal has remained the same: to be an alliance of community leaders dedicated to a national network that promotes advocacy, education, mentoring, training, prevention, healthy lifestyles, research, and dissemination. Our mission is to engage, educate, and empower the people in Indian country to live healthy lives with a vision of our people living in balance within the sacred circle of life. We are committed to creating a wide-ranging, trauma-informed, and data-driven substance misuse prevention and mental health promotion system to reduce substance misuse, promote mental health, prevent suicide, strengthen prevention capacity, and provide services to non-reservation, rural, and underserved Native youth and emerging adults who reside within the area of northeastern Oklahoma served by our organization. For our purposes here today, we'll be focusing on our work in Cherokee County. Next slide, please. Rachel is going to tell you about our home and the people we serve.
Thank you, Jessica. We're from a unique part of Oklahoma. If you're familiar with the Trail of Tears at all, this is where the Cherokee Nation ended the Trail of Tears. This is where they stopped. This is where they have their capital. Also, they started a women's university that has grown into Northeastern State University and has brought people from all over the world into our community. We have the Katuwa Band that also calls this the capital. And then we have a lot of other tribes that just kind of hang out in our area too. We have the Muskogee Creek tribe, we have Osage, we have all kinds of tribal members that are a part of our residents. And then we also have a lot of non-tribal members. Our community is full of ranchers and farmers and people from the university and surrounding communities. This video that we're going to show you gives you a little snapshot of our community.
Welcome to Cherokee County, Oklahoma, a land rich in history, culture, and natural beauty. Nestled in the heart of Northeast Oklahoma, you will find multiple communities thriving within the same location. The Cherokee Reservation, the growing city of Tahlequah, several small towns, a university, numerous cattle ranches and farms, and a tourist destination all coexisting in the same community. This location is also the capital of both the Cherokee Nation and United Katuwa Band for generations. Several tribal members from surrounding tribes such as Muskogee Creek, Choctaw, and Osage also live and work here. Cherokee County is a thriving community where tradition meets the modern world. On July 13, 1991, the Cherokee Nation Language and Cultural Preservation Act was signed, providing for the promotion and preservation of Cherokee language. The traditional language can be found around every corner, including stop signs, street signs, and proudly displayed on buildings and public art. Surrounded by lakes and rivers, water is never far from sight and offers endless opportunities to connect with nature. Whether you're drawn to its rich cultural tapestry, its dynamic community spirit, or its awe-inspiring scenery, Cherokee County welcomes you with open arms. Welcome to Cherokee County, Oklahoma.
That's just a little glimpse into our community. If you guys ever want to come down, float the river, hang out on the lake, or come to the national homecoming for Cherokee Nation on Labor Day weekend, just give me a call. Me, Jessica, Shasta, Anthony, we'll all hang out with you. Now, to look at our community more through the demographic side, Jessica is going to cover that.
Thanks, Rachel. According to the 2021 census, Cherokee County has a population of approximately 47,000 people and growing. 15,400 of those are Native, with 6,582 being Native youth under the age of 18. And as you are all aware, our kids are already disproportionately affected by high poverty rates, substance misuse disorders, limited access to resources, and the intergenerational trauma of historical injustices. They already have to bear up under so much that contributes to a complex landscape for their well-being. Then today we're going to talk about and highlight the growing concern and compounding issues of cyberbullying and cybercrimes, which pose unique dangers in today's digital age. And Anthony is now going to share with you why we are focusing our work on cyberbullying and cybersecurity.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Anthony Meter. I'm the computer forensic analyst out at Homeland Security in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm a medically retired Marine Corps veteran. I served on active duty for 11 years until I was retired, and I learned about this program. It's called the Hero Child Rescue Corps. It's the Human Exploitation Rescue Operative. The program essentially helps transition injured, wounded, and ill veterans into employment with the Department of Homeland Security and computer forensics. That's a huge mouthful. However, really at the end of the day, it helps take veterans, and we get to kind of continue a mission that's much different than what we did while we served, and kind of focus our efforts and some things that we learned towards helping kids. So really, how dangerous is the dark side of digital? It's on the low end, in this year's NCMEC, or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's statistics aren't out yet, but I can guarantee you I've already seen some of the preliminary numbers, and unfortunately, this is going to be another year where we substantially have more cyber tips reported than even last year, which was our largest year to date. It roughly translates into about 80,000, well, now more than 80,000 cyber tips a day, which is about one cyber tip every second. HSI, as an agency, very conservatively has identified or rescued just over 1,500 children, victims, through investigation supported by our Child Exploitation Investigations Unit out in, nationwide, worldwide. We've arrested over 4,500 individuals for crimes involving sexual exploitation of children. And we found a growing need for a program to educate and bring awareness to communities, as adults, children, everybody. There seemed to be a lack of education or even awareness out there. So that's where the iGuardian program comes in. And to date, we've helped present resources to over 200,000 individuals, and we're just trying to get the word out to as many people as possible.
And so why are we here today? We're going to kind of talk about the gravity of cyberbullying, but like Anthony said, this has worked out really well. They had this program that is designed to educate parents and teach kids how to be safe. And they were trying to find ways to get that information out. And we recognize the need, of course, in our communities with our kids, especially after COVID. And we were looking for a program and for an expert. And whenever we were able to meet and connect several years ago, we realized how much our missions aligned, and we were able to forge this awesome partnership. And that's kind of why we're here today. We wanted to share this resource. We'll talk about it later, but there are HSI offices and agents all over the world and all over the US. And our goal is to take what we've got that's worked really well for us and be able to share it with you guys so we can spread this across the US and reach families and communities all over Indian country and all over the United States. And so we're talking now why we're addressing this. So you guys know this, cyberbullying, it's different than the way things were when we were young. It's not your playground bullying. It's persistent. It is constant, and it is relentless, 24/7. There's no reprieve. There's no break. And it's also permanent. Unless you report it and get it removed, these images and these things can come back up and haunt you and haunt their victims years later. It's also very public. It can be viewed, these things that are said, the worst thoughts that you could imagine, the worst things being said or done, or images about you being displayed for the world to see, not just strangers, your friends too, but the whole world. And so we live in just a different time. We don't know what it's like to be a teenager these days, but we know that the issue is very, very serious. And so that's kind of why we're addressing it. The psychological damage, it can lead to anxiety, it can lead to depression, and unfortunately, it can cause kids to harm themselves. So this is our need, and this is what we're addressing. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to talk to you for a little bit. The dark side of digital is real. And we're looking for ways to combat this threat, like we had said. And we've been fortunate to partner with Stand for the Silent. In addition to HSI, this is a nonprofit organization in Oklahoma. And this video that I'm going to show you, it's kind of one of those things that we talked about. There is some very emotional and heavy content. It is going to be presented by someone who has a real lived experience. And gosh, this is Kirk Smalley, and he just makes it his life's mission to help combat youth bullying and cyberbullying. But we'll go ahead and play video, please.
Stand for the Silent started back in 2010 after Laura and I lost our 11-year-old son Ty to suicide because of being bullied. And, you know, we found out that that's happening every day. We're losing children every day in this country. And we couldn't live in a world like that. There's something in our presentation for every single child that hears it. They can relate one way or another. Maybe they've been a victim of bullying, maybe they've been a bully, maybe they've just seen it happen to someone else and haven't stood up and done something about it. The littler kids in society now, they don't come up and say, "Mom, I had a hard day, I need to talk." Instead, they say, "Will you play with me?" You know? When your child comes up and says, "Mom, will you play with me?" You know what I would give for my son to come back up to me and say, "Will you play with me, Dad?" Lay your phone down, quit scrolling through Facebook, get rid of Snapchat for a while, you know? Talk to your kid. Spend every second that you can spend with them. Because you never know. Our main goal in our presentation is to teach these kids that they are somebody, that they have a right to be here, that they have a right to be who they are, and that somebody cares about them and somebody understands these thoughts that they're having. And suicide is the second leading cause of death in our young people in America right now, ages 10 to 24 years old, second only to car wrecks. When we have those kind of numbers, it's way past time that we learn to communicate with our kids again.
So Stand for Silent is just another one of those resources that we've been talking about. Make sure you guys check out their page. They have a wealth of information. And like I said, we work with HSI and the iGuardian program with Anthony. That does cover cyberbullying, but it also covers a lot of other things, sex trafficking, sexting, all these. There's so much information that kids need to keep safe in this digital world. The next thing that we're going to show real quick is Stand for the Silent. They started this video project called Social Bullets, and they have created this video, and it's designed to educate people and give an idea of what it's like to be a day, like a day in the life of a teenager on social media, and kind of what they kind of can see. And so I'm going to let this video go ahead and play.
it makes me so angry, you know, that it happens over and over again.
Validate the kids' feelings. That's what it is. Like, make sure that they know that how they feel is valid.
Be aware that this is such a big issue.
It just gives me a little bit of a sense of vigilance to make sure that I'm a little bit more involved in what's happening every day.
So that video was put together and it's very powerful. It's very emotional. It just kind of gives us a glimpse of some of the reasons that we address this topic. Real quick, I know that Anthony Meter, unfortunately, is about to have to leave to go to another meeting real quick. So I'm going to let him kind of pause for a second. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Anthony, about our program or anything?
I did. So quite often I'm asked why or how our partnership has kind of grown and evolved to where we're at today. I think a really important aspect of this and why Homeland Security has taken such a proactive step forward is oftentimes due to the nature of the presentation and the material that we cover, whether it's, you know, 5th grade, 6th grade, seniors in high school, stakeholders, parents, teachers, educators, administration, it doesn't matter. Because of due to the content of what we cover, very oftentimes we're being asked very specific questions as to what are some things that we can look out for. How do we prevent this? How do I even know this is going on? What are some of the signs? So it's because of that, it's good to have somebody that is, I use this term very loosely, a subject matter expert or somebody that deals with this on a daily basis. Unfortunately, about 80 to 90% of my caseload on a daily basis is this. So being able to help steer parents and other stakeholders into the right direction. And one really important point that I want to point out to a lot of people that for some reason it gets overlooked, these issues that our teenagers are dealing with cyberbullying and some of the suicidal ideations and things that come along with that. The things that are being posted about them, the things that are being said about them. As a parent, first and foremost, we're always want to be very protective. And unfortunately, I think too often we very quickly start going into, well, how true is it? And we kind of start doing our own investigation. And I think what everybody needs to remember is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't matter because most often, unfortunately, in these investigations, these allegations that get thrown out, they're not true, right? They're not true. But once you ring that bell and once something is said about somebody else, and then once everybody starts kind of ganging up on somebody, it's kind of like it's that proverbial snowball that you can't stop from going down the hill. It just grows and grows and grows and grows. So having that knowledge and the firsthand experience on how to get the information to the right authorities, start reaching out to the social media companies and start going to other law enforcement, whether it's here, whether it's in Oklahoma, whether it's in Alaska or New York or Iowa or anywhere, being able to have the resources and the toolbox to actually deal with some of these issues, I think is where our partnership has really come together, and it's really blossomed, and it's really we've seen such a great response and the impact within our own local community. So like Shasta was saying, unfortunately, I am in training this week in Houston, so I do have to go. I greatly appreciate the time. I think time is the most important and valuable thing that we have in life. So thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to take just even a little bit of your time. If you do have any other questions, please reach out to Rachel, Shasta, Jessica, and I will absolutely answer any questions you have as soon as this is over. Feel free. I'm sure that my contact information is going to be shared. via, my email or my number. Please feel free at any time, day or night. If you have something going on or if you have a question, please feel free to reach out, and don't ever hesitate to contact me. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Anthony, for hopping on with us. I know those videos were heavy, and it might be the first time that you've read the comments that are shot back and forth between teenagers and what they're actually dealing with. It's a different world out there. It's an absolute different world. And I'm personally not a part of it. I wasn't aware of it until we started this program about how bad stuff can be in the private chat rooms or in the social media platforms with our teenagers. And if you're in my generation or surrounding my generation, we need to wake up and realize what our kids are going through, because it's a lot different than what we're going through. Anthony is fantastic. He has a passion for this, and you see it all over him. Anthony is not the only Anthony in the United States. Homeland Security Investigations Domestic Office is all over the United States. Shasta is going to share a little bit more about how you can reach your local person.
Yes, and like she said, there are HSI offices all over the United States and all over the world. And we're really fortunate we have Anthony right here in our own backyard. And he is able to help us get this message out to the eastern half of Oklahoma, which is the area that we serve. We were trying, it's been an interesting evolution. Like he said, we started working together just in our small town. We met with HSI. They had this awesome program, and they had a little trouble getting into schools and specifically into Indian country, because them being with a government agency, being with, the FBI, they had trouble getting in sometimes. And when they present in the capacity as an HSI worker. Like Anthony said, you need an expert in the field. And for reasons I'm about to go into, we're not able to live stream really or video these presentations. It's best done in person, because the agents who are delivering these, they are also working in the field. And a lot of times they go undercover. And so we have to preserve and protect their identities. And we want to make sure that we don't jeopardize future operations. So for that reason, it'll be best to coordinate with your local, your closest HSI to bring an agent directly to you if possible, or the one that can, someone that can service your area. And also the content that he mentioned, these presentations. So we're going to go over them, but the content and the things that are discussed and shared, it's some really good information. But if it fell into the wrong hands, it could be used for harm instead of good. And they kind of want to protect that. So that's another reason that we don't just stream it, or we don't have it present the presenter. And so that brings us to today, trying to figure out how to scale this and share this resource. There is a website, there is a link on the HSI website, and we're going to share it in a resource page if you would like to request a presentation. This is free, you guys. This presentation is done freely to give to your communities, to your schools, to your parents. They even have a professional development for teachers version. All of this can be done for free, and it is fantastic. They just did an overhaul on this program, just rolled out with it a few months ago. Brand new, everything is up to date, the data, the graphics, it really is fantastic. And this one is a school presentation. We have gotten it to where you can present it within one class period, and there's different formats. There's some flexibility. Work with the agent that will be closer to you and work with your schools. I have an education background, and so I'm kind of familiar with the environment, but when you're making these connections, try to, whatever, if they need to do a big assembly, if you want to do a small intimate class and do several, that's kind of what we recommend. We find that the kids interact best that way. and there's not as much pressure and they stay more in tuned. And another thing that we've done with our schools that's really helped is we've went in and we've kind of made it part of the curriculum, like part of the leadership class for freshmen or a health class. So then it's sustainable. And that way the schools are kind of looking to us to come back each year. We're not having to go and try to get in. Once we've kind of got this set up to where these schools are asking for us each year and seeking this information. And then it also is a way to kind of make sure more kids get access. So we present to the freshman group every year. Eventually all the kids will get to see it. Kind of things like that. And next slide, please. This is a clip from one of our presentations at the school, just done in a small classroom setting. And like Anthony said, it's a good thing that he's the one doing this, because at the end of these, we get a lot of interaction with the kids. They'll come up, they'll ask questions all throughout. What if someone messages me this? Or he teaches them how to put their phones in safe mode, how to not show their location when they post pictures like that, the data that's embedded in the photos. He teaches them all these things. And it really is fantastic. Next slide, please. And as far as our community trainings go, it's a little different. This training is designed for adults to teach adults and equip them on how to keep their children safe. Some safeguards. We kind of teach them about different apps, what they are, the dangers involved, who has access to their children. And it is designed more for teaching people our age who didn't grow up in a digital world. And it is fantastic, wonderful information. We've partnered with churches, with community buildings to bring in parents and adults for this. And again, all of these presentations are free. And this program has been vetted and tweaked and polished, and it really is fantastic. And also it includes local data. It is actually modified to fit the cultural needs and show what is going on right there in your own backyard. In addition to the standard one that is rolled out nationwide, they bring it local and make it personal. Okay. And Rachel, next, she's going to talk about how we promote this and how we do get our schools on board and try to get our community members to come and attend and get this information.
So as a reminder, I'm the social media manager. So it's my job to tell a story and get the information out. Our students, we don't have to advertise to our students because, as Shasta said, we already developed it into the curriculum. Our 9th grade students all go through this student training. And then Anthony offers a parent community training. And that's where we have issues figuring out how to get this powerful message across. So our first poster, we had no idea. We were trying to, cyber safety, and just put it out there. The first poster on the slide is the left one. And we tried to put our message out there, but Shasta invited her sister to come to one of the presentations at the school. And she goes, "Oh, Shasta, like every parent that has a kid with a cell phone needs to be at this." She goes, "It was incredible. How do we get this message out?" And Shasta's like, "We're trying really hard." And Candy goes, "Well, if I just saw your poster, I wouldn't have come. I only come because you made me come because I'm your sister." She goes, "You guys need to let them know what you're talking about." So we did a little bit of switching to our marketing, and we tried to show the parents exactly what we're talking about. If you look at the poster on the left, it kind of looks like if you're in I don't know, if you're an IT guy and you need to figure out passcodes or something, cyber safety. If you look at the poster on the right, it hits home. Your child is not safe online. And we marketed it as more of a training to parents. And At the bottom, we kind of touched on cyberbullying, dangerous apps, dark web, even fentanyl. Fentanyl is a huge issue in our community. And a lot of the exchange of fentanyl happens online. Sextortion, human trafficking, and sexting. That's a lot to cover in one presentation, and it's hard to market that. So we just put it all out there. We put it all out there. And you know what? Our parents, our community members, we've had someone from each of those topics come up to Anthony at the end and saying, hey, I'm dealing with cyberbullying with my kids. Hey, I was a victim of sextortion. And these people come up and they're like so grateful that we have this information to share with our kids. On the next slide, we're going to see our marketing video. And we'll have this video to give to our schools to get their parents in, our community buildings, when we're doing it at a community building, when we're doing it at a church. We show this same video that addresses human trafficking, sextortion, cyberbullying, and we try to lump it all in as one, which is very hard. But this is the video that we settled on. And at the end, it kind of addresses it as a training. Here you go. A lot of our parents have no idea what their kids are going through. And a lot of these kids go through this in silence. And having our parents be aware of what's going on their screens has made a huge impact in our community. Anthony likes to make the comparison in his presentation. Now, when you teach your kid to drive a car, when they turn 16, you just don't throw them the keys. They go through driver's ed, they go through training, they have to pass a test, and then they get the keys. But when our kid turns 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever that age is in your community, in your family, we give them a cell phone with no instructions. Just here you go. You have access to the entire world, and the entire world have access to you. This training helps parents, grandparents, and students on how to access a safer world online. Next, Jessica is going to show us some numbers on how many students and community members we've been able to reach with this program.
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, we are currently in year 2, in the middle of year 2 of the grant. And to date, we have presented this material in approximately 9 different locations, including, like they said, classrooms, churches, community buildings, and auditoriums. We've done multiple presentations in some of these locations. To date, a total of 1,484 students spanning grades 6th through 11th have been educated about cyber safety. We have also brought in some of our partnering organizations to watch Anthony give these presentations and connected him with some of our partners, and they are now providing these presentations to other schools in Oklahoma. I think Shasta is now going to talk to you about some of the personal impact of the presentation and the interaction she's had between some parents and teens after viewing this material. Next slide, please.
Okay, and so at the end of every training that we do, whether it's at school, whether it's at home, communities, with the teachers, Anthony always does this Q&A session where he allows them to ask questions, and also he's available after for people to talk privately. And almost everyone, there are people that come up that say, I'm dealing with this, can you help me? What do I do in this situation? My child has run into this, or it's a kid, someone sent me this inappropriate, and they'll just tell you. And he is able to immediately connect them with resources, tell them what to do, and get them the assistance that they need. And it's crazy to watch how many kids are affected by this, but it's also amazing to know that we've helped make a difference. They come up and they're able to get help, and we know that maybe we've been able to help keep some kids safe and make a difference in this. We've gotten a lot of feedback since we've been doing this. I've been fortunate enough to work with Anthony for years, even before COVID, and it's always the same. We always have to hear the same things over and over. I had no idea that this was out there. I'm so glad we have all this information. And next slide, please. So this is some of the feedback that we've received from different presentations, from different perspectives and points of view from people who've attended.
This first one is from a grandparent and parent, Tracy Porter. After listening to Anthony's presentation, I felt empowered to navigate the digital world alongside my grandkids. Rather than just highlighting dangers, he offered practical strategies and tools for proactive protection. I was really impressed by his passion and empathy for protecting children from online predators. It was both informative and empowering.
This next one came from one of our elementary principals. And we do present, by the way, we presented as low as second grade. Of course, it's a different version. But this says, if you have children with cell phones, you must see this presentation. I literally sat in complete awe of the information provided. I thank God every day that my children are older. I cannot imagine battling this. That was Marissa McCoy, elementary principal.
And then our last quote comes from Jamie Vaughn. She's a freshman leadership teacher, and this is one of the schools that we've partnered with, and every freshman that goes through the school gets this training. She says, Anthony is an excellent presenter, and the presentation is incredibly informative. However, you don't just walk away with new information. Instead, you leave equipped in identifying red flags of cyber risk, and more importantly, tools for how to respond. Jamie's had several students come up to Anthony after presentations, and he's taught them how to report certain pictures and how to find a safe place. With Anthony and his program, there's not a whole lot of red tape. If there's an emergency that's happening, they're able to act pretty fast on that. Would you agree, Shasta?
Oh, absolutely. Almost kind of in real time. We've actually seen that several times where something information is brought up that day and they're able to get to work on it. Things are reported and things get put in motion immediately, because a lot of this is time sensitive. A lot of times there are kids currently at risk to an actual threat or even a situation that needs to be resolved immediately. And also what's kind of another neat thing that's come out of it is the schools have connected, and they now have a resource for, like, if an instance, something comes up in regards to bullying. We've had this happen several times and the school's not sure how to handle it or what to do or what to go about it. They've been able to reach out to Anthony in the program and say, we have this specific issue. What steps should we take to help our students? Or this happened on a school bus. What do we need to do? They're able to help kind of coordinate and rely on that when it comes to bullying issues, when it comes to images and things, anything inappropriate at all. He's kind of able to help them navigate ways to handle this, to quickly resolve issues and get to the bottom of things quickly. Like, she's right. They don't have a lot of red tape.
Before Anthony, one of our problems at our school was fights being filmed and then posted online. And once something's posted online, it's there for the entire world and it's there forever. So Anthony coming in and having these conversations with the kids, all of these sites that were just specifically to post fights have now been taken down. And they now hold themselves to a higher standard of how they interact online.
Next slide, please. Here's some of the resources that we've talked about. Stand for the Silent, we've kind of already went over that. And that's also where Social Bullets, there's a link to it as well. Both of those programs, that kind of originated here in Oklahoma, but there's some great information, and Kirk travels all over. He is so passionate about this very issue. And that's kind of what we try to find people who are just as passionate about it as we are. Everyone in this field who's working on this grant, we just want to keep kids safe. We don't want kids to harm themselves or take their lives or be at risk, be taken advantage of. And that is what we truly want. And these are some great resources of people who have the same missions, who are also wanting to get this information out there and have fantastic programs that are heartfelt, that are moving, that are impactful and memorable. The iGuardian Project, that is the name of the program that HSI has rolled out with. That is the one that you can reach. We showed you the map of all the agents. All you have to do is go to this website, and there is an option to request a free training for your community, and they will coordinate and connect you with the agent closest to you that covers your area, where you can kind of work with your schools and bring them into your communities. And then also at the bottom is our website if you need to get a hold of us, if you have any questions that we are able to help answer. And I think we're going to put this in the chat, but NCMEC just come out with a brand new video resource that I think is fantastic. It's interactive, and it allows you to truly experience what it's like from the teenage side. You put yourself in their shoes and what it's like to be a victim of sextortion. And things happen and you interact and you make choices as if you were that teenager, what you would say or what you would do. And I've done it. It's 7 minutes long, and it's something. It's very eye-opening, and it's also a great resource too. But when this is all said and done, I think our goal today was to share some of the things that have worked well for us, in efforts and in hopes that together we can reach more kids and keep them safe, because it's really dangerous and it's really scary out there. And I truly feel like some of these programs and some of the things that we do can really, really make a difference. And I hope that you guys are able to come away from this meeting excited and empowered to go make some change and to share this information. And I'm going to hand this over to Rachel. She's going to kind of wrap this up. Go ahead, Rach.
Well, I think Bobby's going to take over the Q&A for us.
So at this time, we'd like to ask if if we have any questions or closing comments at this time that you'd like to ask our team, Shasta, Rachel, or Jessica. Looks like we have a few. We have one in the a comment in the chat. Emma's asking about some information on the team. Emma, do you want to come off mute and ask your question or state your comment? Are you able to, Emma? I'm not sure what she was referring to, but she was talking about the one that is on the teen side. That she was talking about. I'm not sure
Hey, Bobby, I think it's the simulation video
Oh, okay,
of the actual team. I think their staff needs to drop that in the chat box. I don't have that.
awesome.
Yeah, I can drop that in. I'm going to get it
Thank
right
you.
now. I'll put
Perfect.
that in there. The one
Thank
from
you.
Nick. It's called No Escape Room. Let me get that real quick.
One of the things that I also wanted to mention while we're giving participants a chance to gather any thoughts, if they would like to ask any questions or provide any comments, is that the cyberbullying fact sheet, we also worked on this with the center, and this is an excellent resource that provides so much information regarding the youth and protecting our youth from cyberbullying. So that is in the chat. If please feel free to download that and share with your people in your community. And then Lenora said, very informative. Definitely will be sharing this with my community and church. Thank you. Letitia says, thank you also.
If you guys would like to see an in-person presentation from Anthony, Shasta, have we confirmed our next presentation in Phoenix?
Pretty much, that's the plan right now. We're planning to present it, I believe, on day 2
Yes.
at the Four Corners.
Yes, I was just getting ready to go into that. If there's no other comments, well, Lenore asked if you can post the resources in the chat from the last page. Then we have some thank yous. And then BC just let them know that we will share the PowerPoint. I just wanted to mention that Rachel, Shasta, her team are going to be, we're working on including them in as part of the presentations for the Four Corners Regional Site Visit on June 3rd, 4, 5, and 6. And they are going to be presenting on day 2. So if you haven't been able to register for that, for the regional site visit, we do encourage you to speak to your GTA, and so they can get you the information needed to get yourself registered. But again, we're really excited to have them present on site during the regional site visit.
It's a presentation that has to be in person. So even if you registered for online registration, unfortunately, during that time, Anthony requests that all recording and everything has to be shut down. So his part for safety concerns is only in person.
Thank you, Rachel. If there are no more comments or questions, I'd like to just say thank you to our presenters for sharing. And we're kind of getting to the top of the hour. So I'd like to, as usual, as during this time, we always give some quick updates on the Native Connections upcoming events. We do have a webinar that's coming up on May 14th, understanding educational trauma and how to create programming to support our young American Indian students. And then we also have on June 4th, our traditional ecological knowledge connecting to spirit, land, and self. You can also see a whole listing of our upcoming events on the weekly digest, the Native Connections weekly digest that comes out every week. And I'm just going to go ahead and pass this back to Rachel, who's going to close us up in a good way.
Thank you. I know that was a heavy presentation. To kind of loosen up our vagus nerve, if you can, try to straighten everything, ear, shoulder, hips, all in a straight line. And then when you have that straight line all lined up, you're going to slowly look to the left. Inhale. Exhale. And then slowly look to the right as far as you can. And then hold, inhale, exhale. And then this is the tricky part. You're going to look straight forward. And then with your eyes only, you're going to look to the left and hold. And hold until you get a heavy sigh or a yawn. Keep looking to the left with your eyes only. And then look straight. And look to the right, eyes only. Look as far right as you can in your visual space. And hold there until you experience a heavy sigh or a yawn. And then looking straight forward again, loosening everything in your jaw, your brow. Let your tongue fall to the bottom of your mouth, eyes closed and relaxed. Ears, shoulder, hips still lined up. Inhale for 3 counts. Hold for 3 counts. Exhale for 3 counts. Try that pattern again. Inhale for 3 counts. Hold. Exhale. On this next cycle, on your exhale, I want you to let go of everything you can't control. Inhale. Hold. Exhale, let everything relax. Let your neck muscles relax and let go of everything you can't control. Continue that pattern for 3 more rounds. Each time on the exhale, getting looser and letting go. Inhale. Hold. Relax. Last time, deep breath in. Hold. Let it out nice and slow. Completely empty your lungs. And opening your eyes. I hope that you guys continue your week, helping what you can help and letting go of what you can't control. Thank you guys so much for having us from National Indian Women's Health Resource Center.
Thank you, Rachel. We appreciate everything you've shared with us today. Thank you, Jessica and Shasta, and Anthony had to take off, but we appreciate him. We look forward to joining you guys for the next webinar. Thank you. Bye-bye.